you doing, guys? It's Coach Joe again. This is the second part of a 4-part series that I'm doing about throwing the proper jab. If you haven't seen the first part, I suggest you go to the description, go to the link, go back to the first video. Here I describe some of the key functions that you can use to throw a proper jab. Everything's not going to be in the video, of course, but you can use it, add to your game. In this video, we'll be discussing how to measure with the jab or using the stick. In this video, we'll be learning how to cover distance with the jab, how to step with the jab, when to step with the jab, and when not to step with the jab. In the first part of this video, we'll be going over measuring with the jab. Now, there are different types of jabs, just like there are different speeds of jabs, as well as different intents of jabs. Every jab isn't meant to be hard, every jab isn't meant to be fast, and most of all, every jab isn't meant to hit your opponent. This is where the measuring comes into play. Now, I was always taught that if you can't touch your opponent with a jab first, you have no business throwing any other punches. You must allow yourself to gain the proper measurement of distance first. This is where the jab comes into play. When measuring with the stick, you don't always have to touch your opponent's head. You can always touch his gloves, as long as you touch something so you can gain the measurement of distance. Imagine a bow staff or a broomstick. Great weapon to use in combat to keep distance and adversaries away. We can use the stick both offensively and defensively. In this video, we'll be using it offensively. Standing behind the punch. Remember, boxing, when done correctly, is all about the mechanics. And when done correctly, you let your body work for you, rather than forcing movement, isolating your arms to let your arms only do the punching. Remember, any jab that we throw, fast, slow, hard, or soft, our body must be right behind it. Now, what do I mean about sitting behind the jab? When I sit behind my punch, if this is my center line, I want to turn where my shoulder touches my center line. This is my center line. I don't want to throw my punches from here. My center line is here. I want to turn my shoulder into my center line, where my shoulder is pointing into my center line. So when I throw my punch, my body is behind the punch, rather being next to it. Behind the punch, next to it. Behind the punch, next to it. Stepping with the jab. Now we're going to go over the 3 distances of stepping with the jab. Stepping in place, small step, and long step. Stepping in place. Now, why not just throw the punch without taking a step? And it's a valid question. And you will have to do that. When you're in a fight, or when you're sparring, there's going to be times when you're not going to have time to take the step. And you're going to have to go off of reactions defensively. But this is a sweet science. And in science, literally, this is the formula of impact. The force of impact, the formula, kinetic energy divided by distance. Now, when you take that same formula and you add a moving object to it, so the force of impact times a moving object, you'll see that the force of impact is almost doubled when an object is off the ground. For that millisecond, when you're throwing that punch, your punch or your impact of the punch is literally almost doubled of impact, rather than if you're standing on the ground and grounded. Small steps. Now, if you look at the difference between the first jab, covering a little bit more distance. The reason why I do this is because I'm trying to keep my range. I'm trying to keep that sweet spot range where I can hit my opponent and not get hit. I don't want to take long steps when my opponent is a little bit closer, because I end up crowding my punches. I don't want to take a small step when my opponent is real far, because I end up falling over my punches. So I have to keep my range. That's why I take these different types of steps. Next one. Now those are the three basic ranges of distance when utilizing the jab. In between these three ranges, you have to make your adjustments. You have a whole range of adjustments between those three basic ranges. Sometimes when you're standing in place and throwing a jab, you may have to move a little forward. Sometimes when you throw your small steps, you may have to move a little forward, a little bit less. Sometimes when you throw your long steps, you may have to move a little less or move forward. You have to make those adjustments according to where your opponent is, according to the distance. Now in this video, we went over the three basic ranges of closing distance offensively. In another video, we'll be going over how to expand or open up distance defensively. There's three different ranges for that as well. A little extra for you guys that's out there learning how to throw a better punch. When you're throwing your jab, try not to fall over your punch. Try not to bring your weight over your legs when you throw your punch. Always keep your weight centered. Always try to keep your weight distributed evenly on both legs. So when you throw your punch, you're just moving straight. You're not falling over your punch. All right?